What else do we have that we have to program? We've already gone over here, the gyro sense menu, how to use the 0 and the 1, different setups. Stunt mode. Revo mix, you're not really going to want to use it. I don't use it for anything, really. I don't add a lot of, special programming mixes. Pitch curve, usually for stunt mode, you're going to want just a straight linear curve. This is stunt 2, and you've got the different points. Low, the first, second, third, and then the high point. Going to keep that linear, going to keep the stunt mode linear. That's positive pitch, negative pitch, level pitch in the middle, which here at 50%, this is 0 pitch. For the normal curve, I usually have my low points here up around 40. So if I start out in normal mode, I'm not going to have a bunch of downward thrusts, and I can slowly spool up with my stick. It really depends on your preference. You want to go to 40. You want to be able to have some negative pitch in case the motor dies or something, and you have to do an auto, and you're in normal mode. So you want to be able to give yourself some negative pitch there. Then we have the throttle curves. People here will have different preferences as well. It depends if you have a governor or if you want just a flat throttle curve, or if you want some sort of V curve. Usually for stunt 2, if you don't have a governor, you can do a nice little V curve. Oops, pressed clear and that cleared it all out. So, and then have the mid stick. I don't know. This is really a personal preference thing, but this will try to compensate for when you add pitch, it'll try to add a little more throttle so that the head speed maintains a little bit better. If you have a governor, like a Castle Creations governor, this will probably just be a flat 100%. Or if you don't mind inconsistent head speeds, you can do a flat throttle curve still. As I said, matter of preference. Usually for stunt 1, I personally go, you can turn on and off exponential. It will kind of turn it from a line to more of a curve. But here, I usually would do something similar. Again, if you have a governor on an ESC, it might be like a flat 75 or 80, whatever the directions might say. But usually you can just put in another V curve. And I usually make it so that the head speed with this one is a little bit lower than my curve in stunt 2. So I can have a higher head speed in stunt 2, and then I've got a stunt 1 mode where I can go just a little slower and do some sports flying. To change between the modes, what you do is, flip this switch. We've got normal, stunt 1, stunt 2. And then for throttle curve for the normal, again, a lot of people are going to have different preferences. Some people want to do, a flat curve to start out. You certainly can do that, but I think, you want to build a little bit more head speed by the time you get to the mid stick point. So I'll usually, go up to about 60 here, and then get my second point up to about 70, 75. Again, personal preference. I'm going to go 70 just in this case. And then I drop the top point So I can peak out at about, 80% or something. No, let's say 75. I just try to make it, a nice curve like this, and then add a little bit of exponential in there. So I think this, for me, personal preference, is a good normal throttle curve. If you have a governor, like again Castle Creations governor, you might want 0 and then 30, 30, 30, 30. It really depends on the governor and what you're trying to add to it. Throttle hold. Yes, you want throttle hold. Hold position. This is basically the position where we'll put the throttle. So you only really need to put it at 0, and that should kill your throttle. I personally like to go down to -1 just to be safe. I've never had any problems going below 0 on the throttle. And whatever switch you want to be your throttle hold, that's up to you. I use the rudder dual rate channel, which is up here on the right side. This makes so I can flight modes over here, dual rate here, but you can assign it to a different switch if you really like to, and you want to use a rudder dual rate for different rudder speeds. That's really up to you, but I set it for the rudder dual rate. So with this, now this becomes my throttle hold. Here again, if you want to do dual rates, if you want it to be linear, and whatever you want your full travel to be, if you want to have like a dual rate with your aileron, for instance, that's what we've got here on the channel, is the aileron. So you want to turn it down, 80% of the maximum amount. So you want to have a little bit less aileron. So you can assign it so in one position, you've got position 0, and you can have 100%. So you have 100% travel here in position 0, and then flip the switch here, and you're in position 1, and then in position 1 you have 80%. So you can have 80%, 100%. It's up to you. If you want dual rates, different overall rates, that's just up to you. Timer. You want to set up a timer, usually. You can have a stopwatch, but what most people prefer is a down timer. So you can keep track on how long you're flying, and have a nice little beep go off and say, oh, it's time to land now, so that you can save your batteries. Usually I'll start out, a little over 4 minutes or something to get, test out a battery, see how long you get. 4 to 5 minutes. You want to charge it down to about 3.75, 3.8 per cell. Mileage may vary depending on the motor and head speed and everything, your entire setup. So you want a timer on there. When you start and you're in the main menu, you can start the timer just by pressing down the decrease on this adjust button, and then you can reset it by pressing clear. Program mix, another more advanced thing, and that's basically all you need to know for the basics of setting up a helicopter for a new build on a DX7 transmitter, specifically a T-Rex helicopter for this instance. Some things are going to be a little different. And once you've got all that set up, you go back in here, you're in the main menu, you've got your down timer, you've got the name of your model. We got Model T. We know what the voltage is and frequency. You want to get this timer to start, and it's time to start flying. You press down, it starts counting down. You want it to pause for a second, you can press the button again, it'll stop. Get going again, you can press it again. And if you want to bring it back to whatever your original number was, press clear. Back to 420. Alright, one last little thing that we'll go over here for programming on the transmitter is Exponential. You've seen the dual rates. You can change the different amount of maximum throw on the dual rate, but there's also this other one, Exponential. So you can see as you add or subtract, it changes the curve a little bit. As you add more, it kind of makes it more of an exponential looking curve. And I like to, just on the aileron and the elevator, sometimes add 15 to 20%. 20% fairly good. This aileron here. So next you can go to the elevator. Make sure you change that as well. I give 20% elevator aileron. Some people like it on the rudder. I don't really put any on the rudder myself. A lot of guys don't like any exponential at all. They say it gives them, better control. I think it likes, I like a little bit. It makes it so that the sticks aren't so sensitive, around the center. It kind of softens up the response in the center. Makes it a little bit easier to react. But again, it's just another one of those things that's a matter of personal preference. A lot of guys out there are going to tell you that they don't want any exponential, they don't use any dual rates. It's really whatever you want to do. If you're sport flying, whether you're trying to do 3D flight, it's really up to you. So just basically all of the menus I went through is all you really need to know to get set up on any Align electric helicopter. Nitros, you're going to have to do some extra different stuff. I don't do nitro stuff myself. But once you go through all this, you're set. You should be able to fly. Be sure to do some final checks. Make sure that your swash plate is, moving the directions that it's supposed to, and that your tail is reacting the way it's supposed to, and going the proper directions and reacting to turning it. So, thanks for watching.